which was a significant diagnosis about prostate cancer, and that it was, I guess, significantly advanced to maybe even has metastasized to his bones, which indicates that that was a long-standing thing that he's had. And I think everybody's kind of been talking about that, how that's been long-standing out there and whatnot. So I was listening. I was driving home from CrossFit this morning. I was listening to Morning Joe, of all things. I know people in the station probably don't listen to Morning Joe, but I was listening to it, and they had an oncologist on there. And interesting enough, the oncologist talked about how that President Biden would have had to have had this condition for years. And this is not something that would have happened in the last like few hundred days or whatever, ever since, well, whatever, how long it is, ever since he's not been president. And this is something that would have probably predated even his presidency, most likely, even possibly as far back as a decade, is what one of the oncologists was talking about. So it's a condition that he's had. And they did note, too, which I found pretty interesting, that it's something that is routinely tested for. And you'd think that he would have testing for it in the White House, considering the amount of like significant healthcare stuff that they give to the president. They take care of the president, obviously, doing routine physicals and wellness checks and all those things. So, there's several questions out there. Is like, when did the president know that he had this diagnosis? And that's what's kind of, I think, disturbing everybody. Was there, we've already been through the dementia cover up that we all saw. And now we're looking at
that I told you about over and over and over and over. And you said, oh, y'all, you conservatives, y'all are just making this up.
Well, obviously you weren't making it up. He really has got dementia. Obviously, it was obviously at that debate. It was out there at forefront, and so now everybody's already seen that. And of course, there's a Jake Tapper book that came out that's going to discuss all that, which is kind of funny because Jake Tapper was one of the people kind of covering it up. But they're going to discuss everything the Democrats knew.
Who is Jake Tapper?
He's a CNN analyst. And
I won't be reading that.
Yeah, and he well, it's interesting. He wrote the book, and him and somebody, I forget who the other person, I think somebody from Axios or something, and they talk about it, but they were kind of complicit in the actual cover up. So it's kind of interesting that they write this book. But that's supposed to be released tomorrow, and then of course we do get this diagnosis on Sunday. So there was already that suspicion with everybody that in the Biden administration that knew that the president was in ill health, dementia, or state of mental decline, whatever you want to put it. And now we have this, which to me, Lindsay, this is actually worse in my mind. And I know that kind of sounds funny.
I don't think it's any worse. I mean, you've got someone with mush for brains making decisions for the country. That's as bad as it gets.
Well, I'll tell you,
opinion. I mean, with prostate cancer, you still have the mentality to make decisions.
Yeah, no, I understand. But here's what I mean. So I think with the mental condition, you can say there's more of a defense to saying, well, we didn't really know, or we didn't test him. There wasn't a specific test. But here, if there's an actual test that he had cancer, like they knew it, like it's not going to say that he doesn't, like he had cancer, then somebody had to make the decision and say, we're not going to tell the public about something that we have a definitive test on. I think mental cognitive ability is a lot different than that, where you can kind of say, oh, he's a little slow, or they're getting old, those kind of things.
That wasn't slow or
no, I'm not saying,
old,
but I think that would be your defense to that. But with this, you have an actual test that would say you've got cancer. And that,
so what you think is that he's had it?
Yeah, I think, listening to an oncologist this morning said that there's no way that he didn't have it. He had to have had it. It just doesn't
either
develop.
He had it and they were attempting to cover it up, or that he had it and they just decided not to seek treatment, or did everyone in the White House know he had? I mean, I don't.
Well, there's several ways it could have gone down. He could have just not tested it, which I don't believe that happened. I believe that they would.
I thought they had to.
Well, he's not required to. He can opt out of testing, is what the oncologist was saying. But why would he have? It seems like something.
Well, I mean, but if you have prostate cancer, your PSA is just normal routine blood work that's done is going to be elevated.
That's right.
And they clearly, his press secretary, what's her name, the redhead, said over and over and over that he had the physicals done, and then so did the second press secretary that came in. They both said time and time again that he had all these physicals and that he was in great health. I mean, they said it over and over.
Right. But what I was listening to what the doctor was saying this morning, that you can opt for them not to do a PSA screening. I don't know how. I'm not a medical person. This is what the guy was saying.
And that's pretty run of the mill.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And that's what the doctor was kind of saying. It seemed like this would be something that you would have just run anyway. And it would. And the point is, though, even over the course of the last 5, 6, 7 years, he would have had one done given his age, and they would have come up on some sort of screening that he had this elevated level that was indicative of this. Because now what it is, it's gotten to the point where it's metastasized, according to reports, to his bones. So it's a significant advancement in it. And to get to that, there would have been it's a slow growing kind of cancer is what I'm reading. So this would have taken years and years, but you would have detected it.
So you think they just weren't seeking treatment?
That's the interesting thing, because I can't imagine like someone going to me and saying, well, you've got cancer, and you're like, well, I'm not going to seek treatment because I want to hide this from the public because I want to be president again. I guess you could do that, but if you knew you were going to die, then that would seem kind of like, well, then it's not really any good being president. I feel like my scenario is that he did receive some sort of whatever the treatments are,
and
but he didn't tell anybody.
That was hidden from all the. Come on, Mr. Conspiracy Theorist. Now, how many people would have to know at the White House? How many doctors' offices and nurses and medical personnel and White House staff? I mean, how could they keep that covered up? That's a conspiracy.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, I think that's kind of what happened with the dementia thing, though, wasn't it?
No, we all knew.
Well, yeah, okay.
We might have been lied to, but we all were well aware that he was not in good mental health.
Yeah, no,
except for the liberals who wanted to pretend like us crazy conservatives were just making it all up.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that there would have been a test that said this. So was he just going to not get any treatment and say, F it? I mean, was that the plan? Like, F it, I'm not going to do anything?
I mean, I don't know. He wanted to be president really bad.
But I mean, is that worth dying? I don't know. Maybe to some people
he was old enough that maybe he thought he'd have long to live anyway.
I guess that could have been it. I guess he could have, or he wanted to be reelected so badly that he just forego treatment. I mean, I guess it's a possibility out there that he just said, okay, well, I've got prostate cancer and I'm just not going to do anything about it. It seems like a human reaction naturally would be to fight it, though. But I don't know. I mean, you could be right. I mean, that could happen. That could have happened. He just said, heck with it. I don't want, because this is going to become public. There's no way to keep this from the public that I'm receiving cancer treatments. How could you be
reelected if
impossible?
If you have prostate cancer?
Yeah, you couldn't be. I mean, you couldn't be. So the I don't know. It's going to be. I think what you're going to have is some sort of. I think now more than even the mental decline. I think now is you're going to have some congressional inquiries into it. If there was some sort of actual cover up to this, I think they're going to have to investigate it. It kind of reminds me of the West Wing. When the president had MS, and they hid that from the public. And there were certain people in the White House that knew about it. And then, of course, they eventually came out and then they had to do correction. Of course, it's a TV show, but I think it would work very much the same way in that aspect, where I think now there was definitely, obviously he had this cancer for years. And there's people in the White House that must have known about it. I'm assuming they must have known about it. And what did they do to keep that from the public? Did he receive any treatments? If he did, why was that not disclosed? Somebody obviously lied on these medical reports. I mean, there's just there's a whole bunch of stuff to this that could go in a lot of directions, and I think you're gonna. I think you're gonna see that. I think you're gonna see some.
Well, and also it reminds me of let's see, we got a phone call coming. Well, I'm not gonna be able to hear what they say, so you're gonna have to.
Okay, is the headphone just not working at all?
Okay, you're on the air.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, how you doing?
Hey.
Hey.
Hey, is this Shaun?
Yeah, let's see.
Hey to Lindsey.
Hey, says hi to Lindsey.
Hey.
On Biden, on his situation with his illness.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get it right now.
Sure.
Could he have had the prostate cancer, which is not that big of a deal, if it's caught quick?
Sure, that's right.
Could he possibly been diagnosed with that, and whoever his alleged caretaker kept it from him, and then he did not even know it himself? Is that, you think that? Now that's conspiracy.
That is a conspiracy. Lindsey, I love that she's asking if
stranger things have happened.
Lindsey's asking if, so the doctor wouldn't have told him that he had it. Is that possible?
Do what?
No, I'm telling you, Lindsey can't hear because her earphones aren't working. So I'm trying to explain what your question was. And she's asking if the doctor could have kept it from him.
Well, that would be a malpractice suit.
It seems
a huge one.
I don't know how long.
President of the United States.
It's too long, but they say prostate cancer is the biggest killer of men. But if they find it and go on in there and have it taken care of, they don't usually have any other problem. But with him being in his mental condition, and everybody wanted him to stay in the race, which he did too, but they should have, his caretakers didn't take very good care of him.
Yeah, that's what I said. His
In
wife
any
should
kind
be
of way.
ashamed.
Yeah.
I can hear a little.
You can hear a little. Okay.
Through the speaker.
Yeah, it's I think that's. I mean, yes, but I think anything's possible with what we saw last year. So I don't know if anything's really a conspiracy theory on this anymore, because it's all about people that wanted to hang on to power.
Look, I can't hardly hear you, so I'm gonna hang up and listen on the radio.
Great, gotcha. Okay, I think that what we're all. It's unfortunate that the America. I mean, what we saw last year was hiding of his we're making excuses, hiding whatever Lindsey said she saw it, of course.
I think a lot of people saw it way before that debate. People saw, I mean, it was almost like dementia is. There were good days and bad days. Like someday you could see him and he would make a little bit of sense, and then other days you would see him and you couldn't understand a word, and it was very clear that there were some mental issues.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think that debate, the entire country saw it.
Mm-hmm.
There was no,
there was no hiding it at that point
anymore. So and obviously there was, well, of course, what we're reading, there were a lot of instances of that prior to that, even as far back as the start of his term. So they actually hid that from the public. So, I mean, I think anything's possible. You could believe that, yeah, she was asking if a doctor may have just not disclosed it to him. Now that seems pretty, I don't know, pretty serious that he wouldn't do that. I
wonder if maybe a doctor disclosed it to them, but maybe not on the report or whatever they have to submit to the White House.
Or to the one they sent, the physical report they submit to the public.
Yeah.
Like the one that said Trump weighed 215 pounds, where, he altered that. Like when they were joking about that. Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess I think that could have happened. I think I'm imagining the doctor would have said, hey, I'm hoping that you've got prostate cancer. I
would think that even the blood work and the blood levels would be listed somewhere for someone to see. And I almost feel like with it being the president of the United States, if there is something that's even a little bit off, there would have to be a second opinion or a third opinion or a fourth opinion. I mean, maybe even a group of doctors that come together and decide what is the best way forward. This is the president of the United States.
Right.
So I don't know where the breakdown was, but if what we're hearing is true and oncologists are saying for this type of cancer to be at this stage, then he would have had to have it for years. I don't think that there's just any way that somebody didn't know.
Yeah, I think that's true. There's just no way. Somebody knew somewhere. And I think that's what you're going to see. You're going to see congressional investigations into this. I think there has to be, because I listened to several medical experts today saying that, there's just basically no way, if they had the test, that somebody didn't know for it to be at this stage. So I think you're going to have some inquiries into, which you should, because if people were not disclosing that condition to the public, that's a very serious issue in my mind.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Well, we are going to take our first commercial break. Caller, I see you calling. Call back when we get back on air. We will be right back. Stay with us here at WIB 103.9. We will be right back. Stay with us here at WIB 103.9.
WYAB. Pure Air Consultants has always been your go-to for reliable and affordable heating and cooling systems, and now we are offering Day and Night brand to avoid the 25 to 30% increases that everyone is talking about. With Day and Night, Pure Air Consultants professionals can install a reliable system with a 10-year system warranty, and right now receive $20 off on service diagnostic fees. Call us today, 601-939-7420, mypureairconsultants.com.
I'm Shaun Yurtkaran, and I've spent nearly 20 years in the courtroom, first as a prosecutor in Hinds County, now fighting for my clients as a defense attorney. I know how the system works, and I know how to protect your rights. If you're facing criminal charges, don't wait. Call me at 601-862-1320 or visit me at onetextlaw.com. That's onetextlaw.com. Serious cases need serious defense. And remember, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Let's get to work.
At Johnny's Pizza House, we consider our customers like family, so we spend the extra time needed to put more love into making our pizza. From our dough made fresh daily to fresh, never frozen ingredients, Johnny's Pizza House takes pride in knowing that what we serve our customers isn't just pizza. It's a slice of home in every single bite. Great traditions start with great food and great people. Start your tradition today with Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice.
When you choose a natural diamond, you're choosing more than just a truly precious gemstone.
You're choosing a symbol of forever, formed deep within the earth over billions of years, not in a factory in China. I'm John.
And I'm Corey Ravenstein. At Juniker Jewelry Company, we understand the importance of legacy. We've been Mississippi's direct diamond importer for over 4 generations.
That's why we offer only natural diamonds, timeless treasures that become family heirlooms, passed down from generation to generation.
Every Juniker's natural diamond is hand-selected for its enduring beauty and brilliance, ensuring your story lives on in something truly exceptional.
Come shop the largest selection of gorgeous natural diamonds in the state. Every shape, size, and price range, all at the guaranteed best price in Mississippi.
From the Delta to the coast, more families trust Junikers than any other jeweler.
Celebrate your love.
Honor your legacy.
Naturally. At Juniker's.
Juniker Jewelry Company, 1485 Highland Colony Parkway in Madison, and JunikerJewelry.com, Mississippi's direct diamond importer.
I'm here with Lee Bounds of New American Funding. Lee, why is Rita Jensen of Remax Connection your go-to real estate agent?
I highly recommend Rita because she's honest. She just tells it like it is. She has integrity, and I just love referring clients to her because I know when I turn them loose, she is going to take care of them from the start. You'll always be in good hands with her. From the application to the keys, I like to say.
RitaJensen.net. Rita, JENSEN.net. Attention homeowners and business owners. Complete Exteriors is now Elite Roofing and Gutters. Are your roof and gutters storm ready? The folks at Elite are your local experts in storm protection. Now is the time for an inspection and for proactive solutions that ensure your roof and gutters can withstand any storm. Get up to a possible $250 rebate on a new roofing system for all active military, veterans, and retirees. Online at EliteRoofer.com.
Feeding the family? Got a hungry crew? Head to Huey Magoo's for the meal that never misses. Grab a 20 or 30-piece family meal loaded with our delicious chicken tenders. Choose hand-breaded, grilled, or a mix to please everyone at the table. Served with fries, Texas toast, and all your favorite sauces. Hot, fast, and done right. It's the easiest win of the week. And don't forget dessert. Pick up a big creamy banana pudding that tastes just like Grandma used to make. Sweet, simple, and perfect to share. Huey Magoo's, the filet mignon of chicken.
Come together.
We are back here on Crossing the Aisle with Shaun and Lindsey. So, Shaun, Dickie Scruggs tried to make himself relevant over the weekend.
Yeah, I saw that. So, you were following that. So, what happened there?
Well, I think my friend Leslie put it best, and she said, imagine being a billionaire, a convicted felon, a washed-up Democrat, disbarred trial lawyer for giving bribes to a judge, no less, and still finding the time to get online and mock a 22-year-old young woman from Mississippi. Like, how dare you?
Can you tell us exactly what did he do?
Yes, so they posted online the newest member to work for the Mississippi GOP. She's a beautiful young blonde from, I think, I can't remember her hometown, but he made the comment, "Oh, just what Mississippi's Republican Party needs, another toothy blonde girl."
Mm-hmm. It's kind of rough.
It's kind of, it's kind of disgusting. It's kind of sexist. It's kind of Dickie Scruggs.
Well, what's kind of funny about it is that you're liberal. You're supposed to not do those things. And then there he is.
There you are.
Yeah, I think I've noticed over this last several years that Dickie Scruggs, dips his toe in the water of politics quite a bit.
He needs to stay relevant.
Yeah,
somehow, some way.
And it seems to me though that you need to watch the comments you make. Well, you should make that comment no matter who you are on that. I mean, there's a lot of politicians that have said things like that I always disagree with. The president being one of them, who said, there's I think it's inappropriate. But I would say that Dickie was part of one of the most shameful and disgraceful legal scandals in the history of the state of Mississippi.
Yeah,
and it was,
to put it lightly.
It took down a lot of people. Some good people like Judge DeLauder, who I knew pretty well, and who prosecuted Medgar Evers, Byron Delbeck with the murder of Medgar Evers. It just got a lot of people involved. That thing was just vast in the conspiracy, in the crimes that were there, the conspiracy, as you put it. So it was just so bad. Where it's one of those things where if it were me, I would just go off and
crawl in a hole and stay there.
Yeah, he's got gazillions of dollars, so he can just like go move to Puerto Rico and just never be heard of. That would be me. I'm like, I'm not going to get involved in anything. I probably don't need to weigh my opinion. But I guess there's a lot of people that get convicted of crimes that are, I don't know. There's a difference. Like, if you like stole a car, you'd be like, okay, well, that's fine. But when you're involved in one of the, like, you're bribing judges and you're doing all, it's just like, it seems like, maybe you just don't need to get involved in politics again.
I mean, just his name, in my opinion, is a stain on the state of Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everyone knows that, Democrats, Republicans alike.
Yeah.
And I mean, he caught a lot of flack. I mean, I got blocked on Twitter. I think I was already blocked. I guess I had already said something that pissed him off earlier, or that made him mad. But it just grow up.
Yeah, it was a stupid comment. And I don't know what. I mean, it's like, okay, I don't know what he was trying to accomplish by that. It seemed like she was like what, like just out of college, like an intern, and now got a job with the GOP.
Yes.
I mean, just starting.
She's done nothing to make anyone angry yet.
Yeah, I don't know why he would do that. That's just pretty stupid.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, we also saw, our president say that Taylor Swift is no longer hot.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. So I mean, yeah, it's
which I'm no Swiftie. I'm for sure no Swiftie over here, but
yeah, the president has been known to make many comments about several women over the years about their appearances and whatnot. So that's not like that's uncommon for him to do. But I don't think it's correct and for Dickie or the president to do that. So I mean, I think though with Trump this time, he said did he mean hot as the way she looked, or hot that like her career?
Who knows what he meant? There's no telling. There's no telling. I don't understand though why it's still acceptable for anyone to attack women on their appearance, or shouldn't we be past that? Or anyone on their appearance for that matter. Shouldn't we be past that? I feel like we should.
Yeah, that's probably not a good thing. It's I do I'm trying to think, like, what did Trump say? He said she, like, Swift is not hot, her recording career, something to that effect. Wasn't it something like that? And do you remember exactly what the statement was?
I thought it was just that she's no longer hot.
Well, he was fighting with Taylor Swift, who I don't think really attacked him this weekend, but I guess he just threw her in there for good measure because he doesn't like her.
Yeah.
And it was really about Bruce Springsteen was the whole thing, because Bruce Springsteen went to the UK and made some comments about, like, we live in a treasonous administration or something to that effect that he said when he was in the UK in a concert. And I joked on Facebook that Trump has now signed an executive order to change the Bruce Springsteen 1984 hit "Born in the USA" and add to the title "Born in the USA and Died in El Salvador," because that's where he might send Springsteen after that. But he fought with Springsteen again this morning.
So the actual quote was, "Has anyone noticed that since I said I hate Taylor Swift, she's no longer hot?"
Okay,
that was the quote.
I don't know exactly. Okay, maybe I don't know whatever he means there. And I don't know why the president of the United States is fighting with celebrities, but that's what he likes to do.
Knowing Taylor Swift, she could probably sell out shows in El Salvador if she wanted to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and then he went after Springsteen this morning again, and something about he wants him investigate, or Kamala Harris investigated for the like a paid endorsement of her or something. Like it was like a campaign contribution. He said something like that. Like basically, like Springsteen and Oprah and Beyonce were paid to endorse Kamala. Which maybe be true. I mean, I would believe that, but
I know Beyonce was paid to do that big, almost concert like show or sing at one of Kamala's events, which I'm sure brought in a crowd.
Yeah,
and you know how Trump is about how people get their crowds there, and who has the biggest crowd. So, yes. I mean, I don't know if is that something that you can investigate? I mean, I don't think that they've ever said that wasn't the case.
I don't think so. I think he's just, he's just fighting with them, or he enjoys it. It seems to me that he enjoys fighting with celebrities and sharks. That's like his other thing. Going after the sharks.
You keep on about the sharks. I don't ever see him say anything about sharks.
He always talks about sharks. You've never seen him do that?
No, I've only heard you talk about it.
I'm showing you the tweets. Like one time he said, like, I think it was like 2013. He's like, sharks are the biggest losers.
2013. This is 2025. Shaun.
No, I mean, he even said it during the campaign. Remember, he was talking about the Like if you got on a boat, like would you electrocute yourself with the motor, or would you like get eaten by the shark if it was coming at you? You don't remember the whole
It's not something he says all the time, though.
He's got a thing about sharks. He was watching Shark Week when Stormy Daniels went to his bungalow.
Like
she talks about that.
I remember.
She talks about that. They're watching. I think he's just, he's got. Look, I have an irrational fear of sharks too, so maybe Trump does too, and I get it. That's why he brings up the sharks. And what would you do if the sharks coming at you? Would you rather like killed by the motor or the shark? I don't know.
I don't know. Those are not thoughts that just go through my head on a daily basis.
I've never thought about that, but I mean, apparently, but it was that 2013 tweet is pretty funny when he talks about the sharks are the biggest losers and haters in human history, something to that effect.
I wonder why he said that. I wonder if he had somebody that had a nickname of Shark or something that was coming after him at that point that he was trying to make a joke about. Because you know how he can joke. He's a big jokester.
Yeah, I would tell you though, I mean, being anti-shark is not going to lose you any votes. I mean, I can't think of anybody like, we love sharks. Like nobody's like, man, I love the sharks. Like they're great. Like nobody does that.
No.
I mean, so it's not, I mean, there might be some like real liberal contingent like trying to save sharks in the South Pacific or something.
I mean, what did they save in Colorado? The
wolves,
the wolves,
yes.
And they like released them back into the
my sister's actually listening, so she'll be so my sister lives in Colorado, and I was out there one time reading the paper, and so there's a war in Colorado between the liberals in Denver and the basically ranchers of the rest of the entire state, and they decided to like re-release gray wolves that had been they'd exterminated, back like in the 1940s.
So they went and just like sought them out and found them.
Yeah, they like put them in, like it made me laugh because I'm like, this is kind of a liberal thing to do, right?
But
like,
why?
Because they're like, oh, they're reintroducing them to their natural habitat. Of course, years later, or this not years later, this is all recent, but the wolves are now attacking people's livestock and whatnot, which you would expect them to do.
Because duh,
yeah,
it's like
do that.
And y'all are supposed to be the most educated ones, is that right?
I think that's the problem when you're too educated and you think something's a good idea, but you don't like the practicality of it. You're like, well, if you have a ranch, this is probably bad. and
there's a lot of ranchers
in Colorado.
Yeah,
so it's turned out to be. I mean, when I read it, I was like, this is the stupidest damn thing I've ever heard. But you could see like some folks that just never lived outside of a city or whatever are looking at it like, oh, we're going to reintroduce the gray wolves. It's going to be great for the environment or whatever the crap. And now, of course, it's had consequences. They would call them unintended. I would just call them obvious consequences.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you ask for, basically.
Yeah, that's what I would think. But they did in Colorado. You can look it up about the gray wolves. It's kind of hilarious. I'm surprised. But
it's not hilarious to those ranchers who have lost their livelihood, their livestock.
Well, the state actually caused a statement. So, like, when you lose it, the state has to like reimburse you when the wolves eats your stuff.
Well, have any of the wolves attacked humans?
I don't know.
Because what about somebody losing their life? The state can't reimburse your life back.
I'm sure that's coming. I mean, I don't know that. I've not read that, but I'm sure that's a possibility that the gray wolf comes out there.
Great job, liberals of Colorado. Good job.
That's some really good thinking there in it. Like let's just like, so that's what I see. People like, let's save the sharks. I'm like, no, I mean, I understand the sharks and the ecosystem of the ocean, and you've got to have sharks and all that stuff. Blah blah blah. Doesn't mean I gotta like them. That's why I won't go swimming.
I see you and Donald Trump, one and the same.
Yeah, we just don't like sharks, man. They're losers and haters. He's right about that.
All right, we're up against our next commercial break. Y'all stay with us. We'll be right back here to talk about something other than sharks. So stay with us. We're going to talk about something other than sharks. So stay with us.
Keep it tuned here to 103.9 WYAB.
Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit americansforprosperity.org. Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
Did you know that the average 6-room house collects 40 pounds of dust each year? Local business Pure Air Consultants duct cleaning service can rid your home of the dust, dirt, and debris that may be caught in your air ducts. They can eliminate the mold, fungi, and microbes that might be growing inside your ductwork and polluting the air you breathe in your home. Mention WYAB and receive a free UV light with system replacement. Visit online at mypureairconsultants.com. mypureairconsultants.com.
Nick Bain served Mississippi for over a decade in the State House. During that time, he fought for our children by protecting them against explicit materials pushed by the woke agenda. He protected taxpayers by streamlining government and helped create policies that have made Mississippi better. Nick and his team at Bain Bowen will use the same tenacity in helping you with all your legal matters. Call them today at 601-953-2994. Find Nick online at bainbowen.com. That's BAIN Bowen.com.
Are you looking to get stronger, fitter, and push your limits? CrossFit Fondren is where Jackson trains. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned athlete, our expert coaches and supportive community will help you crush your goals. Join us for high-intensity workouts that build strength, endurance, and confidence. No gimmicks, just real results. Try your first class today for free. Visit us at CrossFitFondren.com or stop by the gym, 3002 North Mill Street in Jackson, in the heart of Fondren.
CBS News Brief. The White House says President Trump was working the phones to try to win the war in Ukraine. CBS's Elizabeth Palmer on the biggest obstacle.
Well, I think there's just one, basically. Russia's price for peace is too high.
Vladimir Putin says the call lasted 2 hours. Trump was also to speak with Ukraine's president. Vice President J.D. Vance today on former President Biden's prostate cancer diagnosis.
We wish the best for the former president's health. And, it sounds pretty serious, but hopefully he makes the right recovery.
Biden is reviewing treatment options with his doctors. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt on President Trump's budget plan, which could come up for a vote on Thursday.
This bill does not add to the deficit. In fact, according to the Council of Economic Advisors, this bill will save $1.6 trillion.
Israel has allowed some aid into Gaza today, the first since March. CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
Here's what they're saying about Corcoran Door Company.
I'm going to yell out to one of your sponsors here, Corcoran Door. When the guy came out here, instead of just trying to throw a door up, he was looking at the way the house was facing. Man, with this double garage here on the south side, you might want to consider a insulated door. I came in earlier today about 2:30. The car thermometer said 99 degrees. The thermometer inside the garage was 82.
That's why they've been around 50 years.
Yeah.
CorcoranDoor.com. CORKERN Door.com. Hi, folks. Kim Wade here. Mississippi Energy Services provides generators. That's right. You may not need it now, but when you need backup power, you need a backup power generator from Mississippi Energy Services. Never again have to worry about being without heat, air conditioning, or all your frozen items spoiling because your energy was lost. You got backup power now, and it's so reliable. You'll be pleased with Mississippi Energy Services. Online at msenergy.us.
Men, if you answer yes to any of these questions, you could be suffering from low testosterone. Do you have low sex drive? ED, always tired, depressed, loss of muscle mass, obese, loss of focus and drive? You, my friends, need to get your numbers checked. Check out Men's Health of Mississippi, located in Madison, Mississippi, and online at menshealthms.com. Guys, get your numbers checked today. Trust me, she'll thank you for it. I promise. menshealthms.com. Men's Health of Mississippi.
Pops Auto Sales on Highway 49 in Florence is where you come to buy quality cars, trucks, and SUVs. Priced to fit your budget. At Pops Auto, we specialize in trucks. From four-wheel drives to diesels, our satisfied repeat buyers know Pops has one of the largest truck inventories for any independent dealer, period. Browse Pops inventory at popsautosalesllc.com and get pre-approved for a zero down payment with approved credit. With warranties and service contracts available. Pops Auto Sales, your home for trucks. Highway 49 South in Florence.
Come together.
Welcome back into Crossing the Aisle with Shaun and Lindsey on this Monday afternoon. So we have a few comments, Shaun. So Jimmy said he was talking about the PSA blood test and that Hillary Clinton strikes again, that he was he was owned and was going to collect. That's why he refused to step down, talking about Biden. Jasmine says, seems like mental issues is a prereq for presidency, not pregnancy. And she says she is not for the wolf thing. Yeah, me either. I don't quite understand that. So if anyone wants to call in, the show number is 601-879-0002. Shaun, have you decided to change your party yet?
No, absolutely not. I mean, well, I mean, I don't know. I
You
guess
want to
like,
hang with the wolves and Dickie Scruggs?
I mean, I guess I could be a Republican since they're stealing all of our issues, prescription drugs, everything. I mean, it's all becoming, President Trump is actually this weekend he told Walmart that you can't don't eat the tariffs, don't raise your prices, which seems like almost a socialistic concept in my mind. So maybe I will switch. Who knows?
Shaun, a Republican
That's
under
what he
the
said,
Trump administration.
telling companies like what they can charge. I mean, so I like the prescription drug plan that he had. I don't know what's going to go on with that. He signed the executive order though. If you'll
Yeah, he signed lots of those.
yeah, he signed quite a bit of them. Actually, I was listening this morning. There's only been 5 laws passed in Congress, which is the lowest number in history at this point in a presidency. But there's been like 152 executive orders. Now, I don't really blame that all on him because considering Congress is just dysfunctional anyway, it's become dysfunctional.
But that's not just since Trump has become president again. I mean, that was even prior
Yeah,
to
this has
that,
been a problem for a long time.
with Kevin McCarthy and them not being able to find a new speaker. Remember how that was that held things up for the longest time over in the House.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been an issue now for several years.
I mean, it's going back, even back to the Bush administration, and then Obama, of course, signed a lot of executive orders. I mean, Congress has just kind of abdicated. It's like basically just become a dysfunctional institution, and the presidency has kind of had to step in. It's like the presidency and the courts have kind of had to step in because Congress can just get nothing done, no matter who's in control of it. And they just can't, there's fighting within themselves, within each party. If they've got the Democrats are in control, they fight within themselves. The Republicans they do the same thing. And
They
it just
can't
becomes,
even get the big, beautiful bill through.
well, they did get it out of committee late last night. It did.
Did they?
It did.
I've been glued to Karen Reid trial this morning, so I
Right, I did see
haven't
that.
seen.
Yeah, they did. They were able to do that. Now they talked to Chip Roy, who was kind of one of the holdouts, and he ended up voting present for it. And he was saying that there may be problems down the road, but they did get it. See, that's Republicans. Republicans have the Senate and the House, but they're fighting amongst themselves. And the harder right conservatives are against the spending than the more moderate Republicans. So it's just a big fight there.
Yeah, it's almost like within the and maybe so within the Democrat Party as well, but within the Republican Party, it's like you have your two parties within the party.
Yeah, I think that's true. So, especially the direction that Trump has taken the party is just different than what it was, the way he's turned
But
it.
it's so different. What you're saying, the direction he's taking it, but it's like which direction is he taking it? Because on social issues, he's what you would consider far right, extremely conservative, but on the spending and the tariffs and the prescription drugs, he's more of what I guess you would consider almost far left inside the Republican Party, or very
Yeah.
moderate Republican.
I mean, some of those are Bernie Sanders positions. I mean, I think you're right. The social issues are the same, or even more conservative, maybe to a certain extent. But in terms of actual fiscal issues, this is not your grandfather's, your dad's Republican Party in terms of that. In terms of that, just traditional conservative policy. It's tariffs were never something that Republicans would have been for. Prescription drug parity, which equates to price controls, never would have been for that. So there's, a lot of things. I think Trump has just decided that he's got his own agenda, and the Republican Party is going to fit it because he's going to make them. And it's not necessarily what the old school Republicans wanted. So,
But is that going to work if you can't get Congress to come together and vote on your issues, and you don't get anything through? You have all these executive orders, but will they stick?
I think he's going to get Congress to do what he wants. I think he's that powerful still at this point. I think he can go in there. Now he's back from his Middle East trip, which seemed to be, by all accounts, pretty successful, except for he didn't get to meet with Vladimir Putin, but they had a phone call this morning. I haven't heard any reports on that yet regarding, obviously, a ceasefire in the Ukraine war. But I think, I think Trump has got the power to bend the Republicans to his will. He's been able to successfully do that for quite a while. So I think he's going to eventually get what he wants. He's turned them into the president goes out there and says last Monday, says, I'm going to, equate our prescription drug policy that most favored nation policy, or we're going to pay the same as economically comparable nations. Well, that's a price control, which is just anathema to conservatives, but he's like, this is what I'm going to do because this is what's right. Remember, he was making fun of his friend who was getting the fat shot, as he called it.
Yeah.
He's like, so he said, my friend called me up and he said, Mr. President, I was over in England. I paid $88 for the fat shot. And President Trump was like, you got the fat shot for $88? And he's like, yeah. He's like, then I went home to Manhattan and it was $1,400. He's like, so my friend had to paid $88 for the fat shot in England and $1,400 for that fat shot here. So he's like, that ain't right. That's not right. So my point is, Trump is not looking at things like, okay, this is the conventional conservative position on something. He's looking at like, what do I think is right for me, or which way the political winds blow, wherever we want to look at it. And he's saying, I don't think this is fair, which on that, I completely agree with him. I mean, he's saying why are we paying so much more for prescription drugs in this country as opposed to England? Like, why is that fair? And, conventional conservative orthodoxy would be against his position here. So he's doing what he wants to do. And it's not necessarily what Republicans have always done.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't ever think that he would be the nominee again for the Republican Party after, say, January 6th.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody saw that coming, sure.
And then there he was. So he does have some sort of power about him, which I'm, thankful that he is in office. I would much rather him than Kamala Harris or, whatever you would consider Biden to be at this point, because obviously he's doing what I want him to do, where I'm concerned on my issues.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like he's doing what you want him to do. So we should both be happy.
On healthcare, looks like he's attempting to do the things that, basically leading us into a single payer situation. I don't know if it's going to go that far. I mean, I know it probably won't, but he looks like he's open to it more so than any other Republican would have been. So I find that pretty. Oh, we got a breaking news here. Special prosecutor appointed to the Capitol police officer cases.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just got a WLBT update. That's something, I don't know if y'all been listening to the show, but we've covered quite extensively with the cases with Michael Reinwald and Stephen Frederick and as well as Jeffrey Walker. Okay, so she has appointed, let's see. Oh, Lynn Carter, who's the district attorney for Forest and Perry counties, which is Hattiesburg. So Lynn Carter's office has decided to take over this case, it looks like. That's breaking updated 6 minutes ago. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah, and this is like, I mean, I was thinking, because I'd actually text you on the way here and was saying, is the 10 days up? I was thinking it was getting mighty close.
Mm-hmm.
So who'd made this appointment? Was it Judge Wooten, or
No,
was it the?
She had actually, I read her order again at the bottom. She told the attorney general to make the appointment, which I thought was kind of interesting considering the attorney general has a conflict. So why would they be the one to appoint it? It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I feel like the court should have done that.
So basically the AG's office is doubling down.
Well, the AG's office, yeah. So she told Lynn, like, Lynn, you would make the appointment in her order. And so apparently Lynn has appointed Lynn Carter, who's a guy, not a woman, Lynn Carter, out of Forest and Perry counties, which is, very popular prosecutor down there. I think his dad was DA too. I've got some friends that work in the PD's office. My buddy Eric talks really good about Lynn. They say he's a good guy. So I'm surprised he would have taken this, but I'm gonna make some calls when we leave here to find out about this, because
someone would have to agree to take this, right?
I would think I don't think Lynn could just say you have to take this. Now I don't know that 100%, but my guess is she can't just order. The AG doesn't. I don't believe has the power to tell a district attorney you have to do this. Like, I don't believe that she would have that power to do that. I think she would have to ask for the assistance. What I would think, because I mean, if you're telling somebody, let's say, we'll game this out. If you tell a DA like Jody Owens, who we know doesn't want the case, like Jody, you're going to have to prosecute this. What if Jody says, okay, I'll take it, and just doesn't call any witnesses? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I would do if I didn't want it.
Throw it.
Yeah, if you made me do it, I'd just sit there on it and be like, oh, I got no witnesses. I mean, what are you going to do? Because it's my prosecution at that point. So, yeah, I think maybe District Attorney Carter agreed to do it, which I that's interesting to me that he would.
I wonder if he knows all the facts yet.
Well, they've got a statement here from, in a one-page notice, court Deputy Attorney General Lindsey Cranford says Fitch's office respectfully maintains its position against disqualification and reserves its right to further review. Now, the Deputy Attorney General Lindsey Cranford's husband works in that Forest County office as an assistant district attorney, so maybe that's the connection. So I don't know, but that could be the connection. But that I do know. So.
Interesting. That's very interesting.
That may be possible. So that may be there is. It looks like there's.
So it looks like they are moving forward.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what DA Carter decides to do with it, but he apparently has accepted the case and will handle it from this point forward. Now, this is what I'd said last week or the week before about it. Once they decided to remove the AG's office, that if I were the attorneys for Reinwald and Walker and Frederick, I would file I would file a motion to dismiss it because I think that they had the conflict before they took the case to the grand jury. So that's the way I would do that. I think the case was tainted before they ever took it to the grand jury. So that may be a mechanism they go for it at this point. And again, I just can't imagine Mr. D.A. Carter wanting to prosecute this case. I wonder how much he's looked at it.
But that's what you and I were saying, in a conversation privately, is that we can't really see anyone who would want to touch this with a 10-foot pole, who would want to take this.
Yeah.
Just because there has been so much tainted with it. And then, from what we both know, these guys were just doing their job. And
yeah, and there's so they got a statement again from Deputy Attorney General Lindsey Cranford, whose husband works for Lynn Carter, that I know. So there is a connection. That's a connection there, and I don't know if that's what maybe influenced it. Possibly, I'm not going to say that, but I do know that to be a fact. So that is interesting. So I guess we'll
find out what we can and be back to we'll cover that again tomorrow and
for sure.
Try and fill people in on what we're able to find out between now and then. But until then, we are up against our last commercial break, so we are going to take that real quick. But y'all stay with us right here on WIAB 103.9 Crossing the Aisle with Shaun and Lindsey, and we will wrap up this Monday with you right after the commercial break. Stay with us. Stay with you right after the commercial break. Stay with us.
103.9 WIAB.
Hi there, it's Lori from the mailroom. Of course, we offer shipping with UPS, FedEx, DHL, and the Postal Service. But did you know about all the other services we offer? If you need to have signs made or business cards, brochures, or postcards, we can do that. If you need copies, laminating, or binding, we can do that too. Do you need a notary, need to send a fax, or get a passport photo? Of course we can do that. Come check us out. We are south of Germantown High School at 272 Calhoun Station Parkway, Suite C, mailroomgluckstadt.com.
The best investment on earth is earth. This is real estate agent Shane Saxton. As I like to say, the government can print more money, but they can't print more land. In the past 2 years, I've sold over $100 million in real estate. Call me today to get your land and home sold, because Saxton Sales isn't just a slogan. It's backed up by hundreds of satisfied clients just like you.
Find one of Mississippi's top real estate agent, Shane Saxton, on Facebook, or call Shane at 601-540-5040. Hopper Property, 601-724-1435.
Did you know that the average 6-room house collects 40 pounds of dust each year? Local business Pure Air Consultants Duct Cleaning Service can rid your home of the dust, dirt, and debris that may be caught in your air ducts. They can eliminate the mold, fungi, and microbes that might be growing inside your ductwork and polluting the air you breathe in your home. Mention WYAB and receive a free UV light with system replacement. Visit online at mypureairconsultants.com. mypureairconsultants.com.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
Hey guys, this is Casey Ellis with Ellis Autoplex, located on Highway 471 in Brandon. Ellis Autoplex, known as Little Truck City, is your old school mom and pop style dealership that's family owned and operated. We specialize in 4-wheel drive trucks, but don't worry, we have cars and SUVs too. Looking to sell your vehicle? Bring it by Ellis Autoplex, where we pay fair market value and we cut you a check on the spot. Need your vehicle service or repaired? We can handle that too. Shop us online or set your appointment at ellisautoplex.com. That's ellisautoplex.com.
At Bank of Yazoo, we believe that common sense makes for better banking. That's why we've taken our array of checking accounts and simplified them for you, boiling down features and benefits to create our New You, Achieve You, Benefit You, and Protect You checking accounts. Ready to discover how simple is better? Talk with us today. Bank of Yazoo, Bank of You. Member FDIC and Equal Housing Lender.
When you feel like your business is drowning in paperwork and compliance issues, it's time to call Peoplease. Let Peoplease take care of the busy work so that you can save valuable time and focus on what really matters, growing your business. Peoplease is based in Ridgeland, so you're always dealing with local professionals who will actually understand your business and its needs. Join thousands of satisfied clients who trust Peoplease to simplify their employee administration. Visit peoplelease.com. That's peoplelease.com to learn more.
Craving something extraordinary in Jackson? Manship Restaurant is where your taste buds hit the jackpot. Join us for happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. where your wallet will thank you and your stomach will sing. Indulge in half-price wood-fired pizzas because why pay full price for half the fun? And for just $5, dive into our private barrel bourbon picks. That's right, luxury on a budget. Plus, beat the heat with our frozen drink specials, a tropical escape without the travel expenses. Make your way to the Manship where happy hour isn't just a time, it's an experience.
We are back here on Crossing the Aisle with Shaun and Lindsey, WYAB 103.9, and it's getting hot out there. So the last thing you want is for your AC to stop working. So if that happens, you need to call Pure Air Consultants. Some common reasons for the air to stop working include issues like a flip switch, a dirty condenser, an improperly sized unit, an old unit, or a malfunctioning thermostat. For over 40 years, Pure Air Consultants has been delivering exceptional cooling systems to Central Mississippi, and they want to offer you a rare gift, a free labor warranty for 5 years, new construction build, thermostat installation, and more. Financing is available. So contact them at mypureairconsultants.com and make sure that you are not with your AC in this hot, humid Mississippi weather. Shaun, you know what that's like.
What, without my AC? And
Yes.
this, yeah, unfortunately 2 years ago I had that situation for a month, and thankfully my buddy Renee allowed me to stay at his house for an entire month because I could not live in my house. It was middle of June. It was pretty terrible. So yeah, that's and that's what happens though if you wait, because the AC guys are booked, so you can't get, it's hard to get the parts or whatever. I mean, it is a pain. And then most people, you might not get lucky enough to have a friend to stay at their house, or if you got like a wife and kids, and I mean, what do you do? You got to move them. You can't do that, so you got to get a hotel room.
Yeah,
because you can't live in the house.
No, you can't breathe.
I mean, it's horrible. So you've got to I mean, there was even sometimes I would just sleep in my office. I was like, heck with it. I can just do that. But I'm just me, so it's easy for me to do that. But if you've got a family and stuff, it's got to be a pain. So call Pure Hair Consultants. You do not have to go to Renee's house. If he's
I don't think Renee would allow me and the crew.
Yeah, probably not. Probably not.
The 5 kids show up at your door and say, "Oh, we can't sleep in our house. It's too hot."
Right. Correct. So it would be a little hard. So yeah, I think probably
we just come to your house.
yeah. Then I'd go to Renee's.
Yeah, that's exactly what would happen.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Renee is getting screwed one way or the other on this. That's fortunate for him.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely call those guys. It's too hot in this Mississippi heat, and we are up against a heat wave this week. So that's why Shaun goes to CrossFit at the crack of dawn, I guess, when it's not.
It's not so bad. It's still a little hot. It's getting a little hotter and hotter. Now, next week's not supposed to be as bad. We're going to do Murph, and I saw the weather for that.
We're done. We're done.
Yep.